Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Vice President of Government and Community Relations, Thomas Sales.
Good morning. I hope you can hear me in the back. On behalf of President Sample, Provost Nikias, and the entire USC community, I'd like to welcome you to this historic event, the 100-year anniversary of the Rossier School of Education. This morning when I was driving to work, I was thinking about 100 years. What does that mean? It's a long time. And I think about it a little bit more because I'm closer to 100 than I am to 0. The thing that really put it in perspective for me, though, was I thought about my mother. And she'll be 90 in about 3 weeks. And I thought about all that she's seen in that period of time and all the changes she's seen. And like my mother, Rossier has seen, in that 100-year period, many, many changes. It has made significant contributions, and it's touched the lives of many, many people. And I've only been here for a few months, but what I've quickly realized is that Rossier is an innovator, it's a trendsetter, and for me, most importantly, it's willing to take on the most difficult issues in urban education. I was talking to Dean Gallagher early. She knows that Crenshaw High School is near and dear to my heart. It is a few blocks from where my mother still lives. It opened during my junior year in high school, which means it opened a long time ago. It is now known for its basketball programs, really only. When it opened, it was a model high school. And it produced not just NBA basketball players, but it produced lawyers and doctors, business executives. One friend of mine is the second or third leading executive at Nestle worldwide, who spends his time jet-setting back and forth between Switzerland and France. So it was a different place. Unfortunately, over time, it has lost its academic stature, to the point where it actually lost its accreditation. I didn't know high schools could lose their accreditation. Fortunately, Rossier stepped in and addressed that challenge. And under the leadership of Dean Gallagher and Professor Rousseau, that accreditation has now been restored. And moving forward, there's something called the Greater LA Educational Partnership, which runs Crenshaw High School now, will be under the able leadership of Rudy Crew, who you'll hear from later today. That's why this is a wonderful institution. You know, in my life, I spent a lot of time with elected officials and community leaders, who I love them. They're not shy about criticism, and particularly when it comes to institutions of higher education. But I've done, for the 3 months I've been here, I've done a listening tour, and I've talked to literally hundreds of community leaders and elected officials and people in the community. And the one thing I repeatedly hear is how wonderful the Rossier School is and the significant contribution it's making to improving schools in Los Angeles, particularly the schools in this neighborhood, which we call the USC family of schools. I'm now on my, I think this is my 4th career. I'm not sure, I've lost touch. But I no longer am concerned about political correctness. What I am now concerned about is results. And I'm not an educator, and I don't have the benefit, although I wish I did, of a Rossier education. But I have strong feelings about urban education. And the thing I feel most sincerely about, or most strongly about, is ridding this notion of low expectation for students in urban settings. We cannot have low expectations for the students, the teachers, or the administrators. And I know my colleagues at Rossier view low expectations as repugnant as I do. And all of us, everyone sitting here, if we can do nothing else, we need to rid ourselves of this notion of low expectations for our students. I shudder to think what my life would have been like if my parents and my teachers had low expectations for me. I know I would not be sitting here talking to you today. It's time for me to close, I do want to once again offer my sincere congratulations to Rossier, to Dean Gallagher, to our faculty, to our students, and our generous supporters. We have a special presentation today from Senator Gloria Romero. Is Anila Freeman here? Could you come up?
Thank you. I'm honored to be here on behalf of State Senator Gloria Romero, who unfortunately could not be here today. As you all have been hearing in the news, they're negotiating a budget up in Sacramento, so she got detained up there. But I'm proud to be here, not just because the Rossier School is celebrating 100 years, but I am a proud alumni of USC. And I'm proud to come from an institution that has schools like the Rossier School. And I'm here to present a certificate because 100 years, as referenced, is a long time, and USC has a long history of having such wonderful long programs and having such change and such impact in the community. It's one of the main reasons why I decided to come to USC. So on behalf of Senator Gloria Romero and the California State Senate, I wanted to present Dean Gallagher with this certificate in honor of 100 years of preparing teachers and education leaders throughout the United States and the world. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you, and please send our regards to the Senator. It's now my pleasure to introduce Dean Gallagher. As I said, I've been here 3 months, and initially I thought it was because we had a shared commitment to urban education that she reached out to me, but I've now found out it's because I think she felt sorry for me as I was kind of clumsily stumbling around trying to make a transition from the corporate world to academia. We have rapidly become partners. I could not have a better partner, and this school could not have a better leader. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dean Gallagher.
Thank you, Tom. And no, I didn't feel sorry for you. I knew you were going to be a great partner with us. It is a wonderful day for the USC Rossier School of Education, and I'm very glad that all of you are sharing it with us, because in various ways, you have all contributed to the successes that we celebrate today and to the achievements that I know lie ahead of us. Right now, I'd like to introduce some special guests and ask them to stand and be acknowledged. First, I want to recognize my husband, Dr. Pat Gallagher, a faculty member at the California State University, Dominguez Hills. Pat. Where are you, Pat? Oh, he's back there. Our Board of Counselors Chair, member of the USC Board of Trustees, and Rossier School of Education benefactor, Dr. Barbara Rossier, and her husband, Dr. Roger Rossier. Another alumni who is also a member of the USC Board of Trustees and the school's Board of Counselors, Dr. Verna Dotrieve. And a third alumni, Rossier Board of Counselors member and President-elect of the USC Alumni Association, Ms. Carol Fox. Carol. I would also like to acknowledge former members of our Board of Counselors, the many alumni board members, and alumni faculty who have joined us on this important day. It is an honor to have you with us. And I also want to thank our many colleagues who are here today from Tudor for co-hosting with us. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Monica Garcia, Board President of the Los Angeles Unified School District. Would you join me on stage, please, Monica?
Buenos dias, happy birthday, Rossier School. I think we're here looking forward to the next 100 years, as you do with every birthday. So we recognize all that has been done well and expect great things in the next century. I am very, very proud to be here on behalf of 700,000 young people in our K-12 program, 400,000 in our adult school program, and many, many hundreds of thousands of teachers and administrators who have benefited from your service. Being proud of the USC family means that we understand the work at Fauché Learning Center and how that school has been a model for what we can do, right? How we can take a school that needs a lot, provide support, and help a school get to close to 100% graduation. Also, as someone who has benefited from the family here at SC, I graduated from the MSW program in 2001, where we learned how to say, "You sound angry." We also learned how to say, "We can do this." So on behalf of the Board of Education and Superintendent Cortines, I bring a certificate of recognition. We have great partners here, and absolutely our dean has led the partnership at Crenshaw and challenged all the other universities to get involved with K-12. So the resolution says, whereas the University of Southern California Rossier School of Education celebrates its 100th anniversary. For an entire century, the USC School of Education has been preparing teachers and education leaders to be agents of change, whereas the teachers, administrators, superintendents, counselors, researchers, and scholars who are USC graduates have made a tremendous positive impact on the K-12 and higher education policy, transforming classrooms and communities throughout the United States and across the world. And whereas the groundbreaking of a new program, MAT at USC, promises to positively change education for the future, MAT at USC is the country's first online Master's of Arts in Teaching degree and also places students in high need nationwide as part of the curriculum. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Los Angeles City Board of Education expresses its appreciation to the USC School of Education for its commitment, continued success in educating and improving the life of the children and parents of the Los Angeles Unified School District. Thank you very much, Dean.
Thank you, Monica, so much for being with us today. Innovate, educate, transform. Let me tell you why these three words define the past 100 years of our school's history, and why I think they are the critical charge that will lead us into the next 100 years. Before the turn of the 20th century, we were a small department of pedagogy. Now, we are a robust, diverse, research-oriented school. Beginning in the early 20th century, we focused on preparing thousands of school teachers that our nation demanded. Beginning in earnest after World War II, we prepared hundreds of school leaders, primarily superintendents, who went on to lead schools throughout the state and the nation. Now, in response to a changing society, we continue to prepare teachers and superintendents, as well as school, college, and university professionals who, as advisors, policy leaders, and the next generation of education professors, support those teachers and school administrators. Throughout the first half of the last century, we were responsive to new data and information about what works in classrooms and schools. Now, we drive the new academic program models and set our own scholarly research agenda about student learning and school performance. This is innovation. This is education. The common thread through this school's history, our very DNA, has been our commitment to change, to meet the needs of educators and of students, families, and the communities they serve. We cannot survive, you cannot survive for 100 years, let alone thrive and lead, without embracing innovation and change. And it is important to recognize the fundamental reason we are able to respond to change. That is, our faculty, students, and alumni. This is the trio of our success, both past, present, and for the next century. Three critical relationships are built from this trio. The first is between the scholar, instructor, and the student. The second is between theorists and practitioners. And the third is between this School of Education and its community of supporters that are devoted to our school's success. Through these successful relationships comes transformation. You are going to hear from our speakers the concrete stories of the work that defines innovation, education, and transformation. But I also want to turn the spotlight on several key examples. This week, the Rossier School of Education welcomes the first individual to hold the new Katzman Ernst Chair in Educational Entrepreneurship, Technology, and Innovation. I'm delighted to welcome David Dwyer. His impressive credentials as a scholar and as an entrepreneur in advanced learning technologies can be found in his biography, which you're going to get right after this event. This month, we launched the country's first online Masters of Arts in Teaching with a teaching credential from elite research university. Our program, the MAT at USC, has an opening cohort of 144 students, far surpassing our expectations and setting the stage for placing hundreds rather than dozens of quality teachers in high-need schools throughout the United States. In a moment, you will hear from one of these students. This year, our Math for America program, specifically preparing those who know and love mathematics to be secondary math teachers in high-need schools, will grow exponentially thanks to a $1.5 million grant from the National Science Foundation. This year, our re-envisioned EDD program is 7 years old and is now recognized throughout the United States as an academic model to emulate. This year, our global outreach programs through the Asia-Pacific Rim International Study Experience are expanding opportunities for students and faculty in the Rossier School. As we launch our anniversary year, Rossier is ranked among the top 10 private graduate schools of education in the entire country. Our higher ed program and our K-12 school leadership program are both ranked in the top 10 nationally. We've been singled out in national rankings for the rich diversity of our faculty and our student body. We are viewed across the world as a leader in our field. This is your success. And I urge all of you to play an even more important role as we envision this school's future. Join us this celebratory year. There will be opportunities to participate and advocate both in person and online, and opportunities to offer financial support at all levels for diversity of programs, scholarships, and other needs. All of us in the USC Rossier School of Education are marking this centennial with an even stronger commitment to our core mission, to strengthen urban education locally, nationally, and globally. The colleagues that you will hear from today and all of you who celebrate with us can play a role in this mission. With your help, we will continue to innovate and educate, and ultimately we can transform this world. Thank you. And now it is my privilege to introduce one of Rossier School's most celebrated and accomplished alumni. Dr. Thelma Melendez de Santa Ana received her doctorate from our school in 1995 and has gone on to build a reputation as a change agent for urban education in our region. While she is currently the highly regarded superintendent of Pomona Unified School District, she has been recently nominated by President Obama to serve as Assistant Secretary of Elementary and Secondary Education. She is an educator and an innovator. Please welcome Dr. Thelma Melendez de Santa Ana.
Good morning, and thank you very much for asking me to be a part of this wonderful celebration. It's so nice to be home again. And in many ways, the Rossier School of Education is like home to me. I see many familiar faces, like Professor Robert Reda, who I'm proud to say chaired my dissertation committee and who served as a mentor to me. And best of all, he introduced me to my husband. In fact, his daughter was our flower girl in our wedding. So I have close personal ties to the School of Education, and it's always a pleasure to visit. As the Rossier School prepares for its second 100 years, I am struck how current, how relevant, and how really very cutting edge it remains. Another one of our speakers today is a student from the first cohort of the new online Master of Art in Teaching. That's cutting edge. But I have to tell you that when I was here, this school was also very cutting edge, way back in the early 1990s when I was here. A little bit of trivia. I was one of the first principals in LA County to use email, if you can believe that. I had my email address printed on my business card, which was practically unheard of at the time. I was able to use my School of Education email account, GERTAB, those of you that remember, and that made me a trailblazer of sorts. A degree from this school will do that for you. It will make you an education leader. In my time here, I was surrounded and supported by great faculty. The program was rigorous and challenging, and there was a focus in cultural diversity in education, which was great for me because of my own focus around language, literacy, and learning. I learned about curriculum and instruction and about what it takes to teach children from diverse backgrounds. During my time at the School of Education, I learned how to think critically, how to interpret and analyze data, and to discuss its implications. This is really the day-to-day job of a superintendent, so I still use those skills every single day. What I learn here will serve me well, Lord willing, in my next position too, should I be confirmed by the Senate. I think back to what brought me to the School of Education in the first place, and it was really my experiences as a child, as an English language learner who got a close-up look at the enormously important effect a good teacher can have on a young life. Some of you have heard me speak about Mrs. Silverman before. Mrs. Silverman was my kindergarten teacher, and I refer to her quite often because without ever even knowing it, she became a role model for me. She was kind and gentle, and she welcomed me into her class despite the fact that I couldn't speak English. This was a time when English language learners were much more of a rarity than they are today. And cultural diversity was measured more in terms of what part of the United States people moved to California from. She had a human touch, and that made a difference for me. She reached out to me as a little girl who needed to feel welcome and part of a group. She went out of her way to help me make friends at school. And over the course of the year, she taught me English without ever dismissing or dishonoring my first language. She didn't want to make me feel something that I wasn't. She wanted me to learn and to find success in school so that I'd be confident and happy as I moved forward. She was a wonderful teacher and a wonderful example to me. I am forever grateful to Mrs. Silverman, and one of the biggest reasons I became a teacher and later a superintendent. I experienced very early on the power we as educators have in the lives of children. Each of us can make a world of difference in a child's life, one way or the other, positively or negatively. And for the past 100 years, the Rossier School of Education has been preparing educators to be those positive influences in the lives of children. That's what public education needs today. Positive, innovative, forward-thinking young leaders to help reimagine and remake education for a new generation and a new era in our country. Here in California especially, but in other states as well, we find ourselves at a turning point for public education. I believe we're entering a time when innovation and creativity in the classroom and district offices are going to be respected and rewarded like never before. And the Rossier School of Education will be leading the way, just as it has for the last 100 years, producing the creative, innovative young educators who will transform education in this country. And once again, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this celebration. It's a wonderful opportunity for me to come home, to say thank you, to express my gratitude for everything the Rossier School of Education has helped me achieve to this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Thelma, for those inspiring words. Our next speaker represents our future educators and innovators. As a member of the first cohort of the MAT at USC program, Haley Scott Demaria has just begun her tenure as a USC Rossier School student and a proud Trojan. Her story is a remarkable one. Please welcome Haley Demaria.
Thank you, Dean Gallagher. It really is an honor for me to be here today. In looking towards the future, I need to share with you a bit of my past that led me on the path to Rossier. I was blessed to grow up in a family that truly valued education. My mom is a lifelong educator. My father worked his way through college and law school. Growing up, I knew that my parents would make every sacrifice necessary to send me to the very best schools possible. In return, I knew that I needed to work hard and do my best out of respect for my parents' values. This path led me to the University of Notre Dame, where as an undergrad, I competed as a member of the varsity swim team. During my freshman year, our team was in a bus accident returning from a swim meet in Chicago. 2 of my freshman teammates were killed, and I was left paralyzed. It was that night that my real and lifelong education began, though I never lost sight of my goals: to walk again, to swim again, and to teach. In fact, after 2 emergency surgeries that night, when my parents and I had learned my prognosis of paralysis, I turned to my mom and said, "It's okay, Mom. I still have my mind. I can still teach." That's how important being a teacher has always been to me. I also learned how important it is to surround yourself with good people and to be part of a caring university that embraces you like family. This was essential as I struggled to learn to walk again, as I competed and returned to collegiate swimming, and as I graduated and realized my dream of being a teacher. But as with all athletes, when we reach our goals, we set new ones. And for me, that meant wanting to achieve an advanced degree. But I didn't just want a degree, I wanted an education. I wanted to continue to learn from the very best professors. And I knew that I could only continue my education at a respected and caring university that would embrace me like family. The MAT at USC. I live in Annapolis, Maryland. I have 2 young sons to raise and a husband who works internationally. I work part-time as an author and inspirational speaker. Because my family comes before my own academic goals, it is not possible for us to move to Los Angeles, just like it is not possible for many of my MAT at UAC colleagues who have flown in today from all over the country to join us in celebration. I invite those who are here from this first cohort of MAT students to please stand and be recognized. Or maybe they already are standing. Only with the MAT at USC would we be able to achieve the high-quality advanced degree that we seek in the field of teaching. I am so grateful to the Rossier School of Education, in partnership with Tutor, for their innovation in creating a program that marries a top-tier education with the technology of the 21st century, for creating a program that has already transformed the way we learn and the way we will teach. We live in a global society, and while it may be the MAT at USC, 100 years of knowledge will be used to educate teachers nationwide and soon worldwide, teachers like myself who value an education for every child, no matter what their limitations, physical, economic, emotional, so that every child can foster a love of learning and become a lifelong learner. In closing, and on a personal note, tomorrow my family and I will travel to London, England for 2 months. As I mentioned, my husband works internationally, so for us, as most decisions are, it was a family-based decision so that we could spend more time together. How great that I do not have to put my academic goals on hold in order to spend more time with my family, that I can continue to learn from the very best program no matter where I live. Thank you to USC, thank you to Tudor, and thank you and congratulations to the Rossier School of Education for the MAT at USC.
Thank you, Haley. The MAT at USC will truly transform the field of teacher preparation and therefore the outcomes for students nationwide when people such as Haley can become Rossier prepared teachers. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Lloyd Armstrong, one of USC's most esteemed educational leaders. USC and the Rossier School of Education have achieved their stature among our academic colleagues around the world, in large part because of his visionary university leadership and his scholarship about universities and globalization. Please welcome Provost Emeritus and University Professor Dr. Lloyd Armstrong.
Thank you very much, Karen. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, as we read and listen to the news, one of the things we hear constantly is how countries all around the world are beginning to expand and improve their educational systems. They're building new universities. They're reforming and rethinking their old universities. And by and large, the model for all of this growth is the U.S. Research University. Now, a research university is a very unusual thing. It has really three missions, at least three in any case. The first is the same mission as any institution of higher education has, that is, to take the accumulated knowledge of the world and teach it to our students. But the second role of the research university is, in fact, to expand the knowledge base, to expand what people know, and through their research. And then the third goal is to take that research and let the world know about it, to tell everybody in the world, and in particular, to tell their own students about it so that their own students will go into the world best prepared of all the people. Now, the U.S. did not invent the idea of the research university, the idea that research for new knowledge and education should take place in one institution, but arguably we perfected it. And it's because of that that every country around the world is trying to model themselves on us. Now, in fact, there are very, very few research universities in the world, given the impact that we have. Within the United States, there are about 5,000 accredited institutions of higher learning. Only roughly 100 of those could really be considered research universities. And USC is very proud to be in the upper echelon of that 100 as one of the best research universities in the world. Now, in fact, in the U.S., because of the way we're set up, U.S. universities, research universities, bear a bigger burden even than do most research universities in the world, because a disproportionate share, if you will, of knowledge creation in the United States is planned and supposed to take place within universities, not in some government lab, not in some freestanding thing of one sort or another. Now, in a research university such as USC, all academic components are really expected to be full-fledged participants, enthusiastic participants, in all three components of this mission of research universities. And in fact, this is necessary. The research university world is a very competitive one. And so it is really important that everyone participate in it effectively. And a school that cannot effectively work at the very frontiers of knowledge in its own domain is simply not acceptable in this competitive world. The Rossier School, like every school at USC, I'm happy to say, is not only enthusiastic but very effective in carrying out all three of these missions. Its faculty are carrying out really groundbreaking research in almost all aspects of education. And this Research, of course, enhances the education of our own graduates, and it's changing practice in all of these fields all around the globe. And I have to say, it was the high quality of the research in Rossier that attracted me to come here as a faculty member after my 12 years as provost. My interest is really in the study of higher education around the globe, and the group here at Rossier who study higher education are well known as among the best in the whole world. It's been a pleasure to work with them. But the world is changing. And what we see as we look around the world is that knowledge creation is, if you will, sort of occurring all over the world. It is no longer the case that U.S. and Europe are the only nodes in the global network of knowledge creation. So if we, and by we I mean both the University of Southern California and the United States, if we want to remain at the forefront of knowledge creation, then we have to be very, very active in creating networks of knowledge creation that involve these emerging global centers, the centers that are in Beijing and Singapore and Shanghai and Hanoi and all around the world. And it's through these networks that our faculty will gain new perspectives. Our students will have their visions enriched and broadened, and we will have increased our own global impact on knowledge creation. And I have to say, as I look around the university, it is in this area of the creation of global knowledge networks that the Rossier School is really a pioneer at this university. The Asia-Pacific Rim International Study Experience, a prize, which was mentioned earlier, is, I think, a path-breaking enterprise and promises to vault Rossier to a position of global leadership among schools of education. So in brief, research, teaching, globalization, these are the three areas that are at the core of the modern research university. And I have to say that Rossier excels at all three. And that's why I'm so pleased to be able to participate in this celebration of the 100th anniversary of this school as a member of the faculty of the school. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Lloyd, so much. Our final speaker this morning has only slightly more tenure with the USC Rossier School of Education than Haley does. But his success in changing urban school districts for the better is known worldwide. The former chancellor of the New York City schools, as well as the superintendent of the Miami-Dade School District, Dr. Rudy Crew, has now joined Rossier to spearhead our efforts to innovate, educate, and transform the schools of our neighborhood, our city, and our region. Please welcome Dr. Rudy Crew.
Well, some said it couldn't be done. There are plenty of people around the country who cynically dismiss the notion that big, urban, complex systems that we call school systems can't actually account for, in a routine and systematic way, can't account for the growth and development of children, of their families, and the communities that raise them. Well, I think what you saw here today, whether they be Vice President Sales or the Dean, the board chair, a superintendent, hopefully confirmed as a member of President Obama's secretary on Secretary Duncan's team. Each of these people in their own way really have a story that essentially confirms the fact that public schools taught by public school teachers in public school facilities all across the world and all across this country can function to the betterment of their local communities and of the children that attend them. The question is, as we turn now going from this 100 years into the next 100 years, the question is, how will we go forward? What's the new design? What's the new structure? What strategies will work and which ones should we actually discard? We'll know that in part by what I actually heard the prior speaker say, is part of that is going to be about the creation and the use of knowledge and research. We'll also know that in part because there are practitioners, people like Rudy Crew and others who have actually been doing this work for some period of time and whose work is exemplary not only in the state of California but around the country. We'll know that because there are people who every day toil in this field and who know exactly what it takes to leave a child more confident one day as they go into the next. Leave a child more capable of being able to take and pass algebra, meet AYP, be able to do advanced academics, and any other subject matter that we dare to actually put in front of them. America's at a very, very interesting time, and it couldn't be better suited that SC rises to this essential occasion in being able to meet the challenges as we try to turn this corner and prove that as the centuries move on, as the work gets more complex, as learning becomes more essential and more integral to the economy and the growth of the economy, that public schools are as vital an engine as anything that will happen in the corporate and private sector in this country and in this world. I stand here partly in awe, actually, of all of the people who've spoken, but mostly because as a new member of the SC family, my desire in working at Crenshaw High School is to once again put forward a footprint of what actually it takes, not from the standpoint of asking for more money or even the politics, but what does it take in terms of the sheer knowledge, will, and skill of people who are educators to do this work. There are gold mines in the community of Crenshaw. There are doctors and lawyers and all manner of people who will emerge from that community yet again. But we have to excavate the landscape. We have to literally dig deep and ask people to dig deep within inside themselves. And this journey is a new journey. I'm not even sure that I can say that we have done it before in very many places around the country. What I do know is that each of us came from such a community. Each of us is standing today, or sitting, on someone's shoulders who emigrated or who came from that community. Each of us, if we were up here giving this same set of speeches, would turn around and thank someone from those communities whose shoulders we now stand upon. As SC situates itself in a partnership with Crenshaw, the buckets of work that we're going to be in are buckets of work that you all know very well. We're going to have to be in this question of professional development more profoundly than ever before. How teachers acquire knowledge and use it, how the research actually moves from a university corridor into a classroom. We're literally going to have to be in the business of growing and training and supporting vibrant leadership in the Crenshaw schools and in their feeder pattern. There are an awful lot of people who said I wouldn't go there on a bet. We have to make that bet real. And clearly we're going to have to be in the business of community building. This is a community with tremendous acumen, with tremendous desire, but it has actually had, over the many years, in the last several years, it's had to begin to kind of turn corners as demographics shift, as the economy shifts, as people get thrown about by the conditions of poverty and despair. So now SC stands in this position as being an artist. There's a canvas in Crenshaw that we're going to have to paint on. And it's not painting by the numbers. There are no numbers here. This is literally about taking the human tapestry called school, called community, and called a partnership with USC, and painting a world that these children will walk into gainfully employed, speaking more than one language, capable of being able to rise to the occasion and interview you, me, or for themselves any place else that they would choose to go. Full users of the arts, full and beautiful, capable people who will be in your seat, in my seat, the second we close our eyes. I want to thank Dean Gallagher. I want to thank Vice President Sales, and all the platform and other guests whose generosity of time and spirit and their intellect led to this day and led to the ability to have YESC led by people whose vision and whose strength of character allows me to now stand here and be able to do this work. I thank you very, very much for the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rudy. Okay, if I could ask Vice President Sales to come back up and rejoin me at the podium for the official start of the 100th birthday celebration. Okay, may I have a drum roll, please? What would a birthday be without a birthday cake? So, may I have the cake brought on stage, please, or close to the stage? Now, before we enjoy the reception, I'd like to invite all of our guests who wish to please approach one of our volunteer videographers if you would like to share a very quick memory about your own education, because we're going to use it on our anniversary website. So could I see where the videographers are? Back here, oh, here, and here. So we won't get you all today, but we want to hear from you. Now, let's enjoy the reception, have a piece of Rossier birthday cake, and be sure to pick up your 100th anniversary t-shirts, because what would a celebration be at USC without t-shirts? Thank you so much for coming today.